Now, Dorit, when you were sitting up in that confessional making all those faces when the producer asked you if you were impressed with Sutton's clothing line, answer this one question for me. I just got one question. Where your bridal line at? What happened to your bridal line? Is it bridling right now? Because the last time that I checked, it did my homework, okay, it's not existent. And I read a statement that said it largely vanished shortly after a brief launch. I'm like, not the words largely vanished and brief launch. So, girl, you need to get all that together in that confession. Okay. While you doing all of that, you need to be taking that same energy and going to Sutton and asking how to make the coins coin, especially at this point in time in your life where it seems like you need it. That's what you need to be doing. Okay. Humble yourself and ask the questions that need to be asked, because what did Sutton say, y'all? Did she say that her boutique has been open for like 5 years? Something or another. Hasn't it been like 2019? So maybe we're going on 6. I could be totally wrong, but I'm gonna tell you what, it's definitely lasted longer than that bridal line. So get it together. But anyways, y'all, we're gonna get into it. What is going on? It's your girl Tayi to be here. Welcome to my chat party. I am so glad that you guys are taking time out of your day to join little old me and hear my thoughts and opinions on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 14, episode number 14. I don't know about y'all, but I also love synchronized numbers. So the 1414, oh yes, it does it for me. For whatever 14 means, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I am so grateful to you guys who got on my dance floor last video and twisted and two-stepped and showed all the way out. I definitely have my special shout outs to y'all at the end of the video, because I know most folks will be like, girl, I need you to get to the point. I ain't come here for all of that, but it's important to me. And most importantly, it's always better to save the best for last. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who have joined my VIP guest list, oh my gosh, thank you so, so much. Like, I'm hugging you all and just I'm overjoyed. I promise you, I truly am, from the bottom of my heart. It is all love. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into this, okay? Oh, and for those of you who will hit the like button, thank you. And again, just if showing up to the party a little bit, a lot of bit, fashionably late, fashionably early, thank you. Okay, it's lit over here. Now, I will say this episode in particular, I feel like it wasn't giving a whole lot, but we're gonna squeeze whatever we can from it. Okay. So let's do it. Kyle and Kathy, we started with them riding together, and Kathy is checking in on Kyle since that crazy post with Mauricio's come out. Kyle seems still to be taken aback by it and is still trying to process it all. She said she wanted to hit him up and ask him who it was that he was in the pictures, like who that lady is. And Kathy says it's really none of her business. And I'm like, but Kathy, at the end of the day, I'm sure they're pretty still legally married on paper. So to some effect, it absolutely kind of sort of is her business. However, would I hit him up and ask him about it off of GP? I'm gonna definitely say no, because it's like, if you didn't even have the decency to give me a heads up that you were seeing someone, again, it's a respect thing, then you don't want to tell. And I'll act like I just don't see, and we'll move right along with my life. You definitely do you, and don't you dare ever question me about who you see me with. Okay? It'll be as simple as that. And you guys know too, at the same time, men just operate differently, right? Because it's like they can be okay doing stuff to you, but you just can't do it to them. You get the whole double standards of it all. But anyways, now we're at Erica's place, getting a glimpse of how her new decor came out. And that kitchen wallpaper, y'all, was a bit busy for me. I think that's what stood out the most for my taste. But some would say her renos probably looked great. I would definitely say fast forward. Okay. I mean, it was what it was. I mean, I guess overall it was cool, right? I will say I did like, if I had to choose, the bedroom and the living room. Okay. So her mom is cute, which it's not our first time seeing her. We've definitely seen her and been introduced to her in past seasons, but she definitely arrives on the scene. And so now we go back to Kyle and Kathy, who apparently before were riding on their way to get their mammos done. So, ladies, 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 great reminder. I always love these moments where these different shows will just show the significance and the importance of this, because it's our huge reminder that we got to stay on top of things. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely don't forget about getting yours taken care of. I am faithfully and religiously doing mine every year, so I wouldn't tell you to do something that I'm not already doing. So they share how their mom found a lump way after the fact and was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I'm like, oh, yikes, which again, we're not new to this story if you've been watching in past seasons, but still, it's like, I'm sure it's a sore for them every time that they talk about it. I mean, what do we all say at the end of the day? We hate cancer. We hate cancer. I mean, it's not what we really say. We drop the F bomb to cancer, but you know what I mean? It is just the absolute freaking worst. And so they hop back into the Mauricio mess of it all. Kyle's ready to change her bio profile from wife and learns that Mauricio, he done already changed his, y'all. He said, listen, I ain't wasting no time, okay? I'm about to act like I'm on my hot boy summer type 25-year-old ish. And so she sees that he's removed his husband and father's title. And I'm just like, the only thing I don't understand about that and with that is, why are you changing or removing your father title, Mauricio? Like, you're not divorcing your kids. You're still going to be a father. You have, from what we see and know, a wonderful, amazing relationship as a father with your girl. So, like, what are you doing? Like, what was, like, I don't get that part. That definitely could have and should have stayed up. And so Kyle says she doesn't want to talk about who this new lady is. And I said, well, when y'all were driving there, though, you kind of did. But okay, fine. Well, listen, we have a right to change our mind. I guess you change your mind in this moment, okay? She has no interest. So thankfully, the doctor comes in to let them both know that they have a clean bill of health. And I'm sure that hits kind of different in terms of relief, because to me, it makes things a little bit more heavy when, your family has a history with it, and their mom having it is super close proximity. I know, for instance, like my maternal grandmother, she passed away from breast cancer. And so for me, I always wondered, like, would it ever hit me? Because I feel like my mom, while she's had quite a few lumps, they've all been benign. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, that just means that everything's been all good, no cancer detected, thank God. But then I'm like, is it skipping her to come to me? And then of course I try to get that out of my mind, because we don't want to speak these things to be. And sometimes you just never know. At the same time, I will say, unfortunately, my beautiful aunt passed away. She had breast cancer also, which was in remission for a while, but then it metastasized and turned into, well, not metastasized, but then it came back as something greater, which was lung cancer. So and unfortunately, she's no longer with us physically, definitely in spirit. But you know what I'm saying? You just never know. And it makes you think. And I think sometimes that's what makes it a little more scary when you're just like, well, dang, it's too close for my comfort. But we're definitely sending out all good, right? All good healings, all good health, and the things in between. And so we head over to my girl Sutton's boutique, okay, the one that's been around for a long time, long enough, okay, that didn't fade to black like some other businesses. And Garcelle meets her there, and Sutton sharing the woes of planning her fashion show event. I love that Garcelle's son will be included and be one of the models walking. We definitely get a record scratch right here, because I don't know if y'all heard what I heard, but what I heard was Sutton say to Garcelle that inviting Dorit is a to be or not to be moment. And I said, Sutton, see, this is what I be talking about. I just said to you in the last video, if you're going to officially be done with her, be done. We don't do the back and forth. Like, what? Listen, how are we at this moment where there's even a question of inviting her? Like, how, Sway, how? Like, I don't, and it's fresh to where she's gotten on your nerves. It's not like some weeks have passed or some months have passed. Like, I'm sure this is a matter of everything went down last night or 2 days ago or a few days ago or within the last week. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what? And I thought that would have been a no-brainer and an automatic, definitely not going down moment. Today, tomorrow, not never. I'm telling y'all, this is where Sutton began to me. It's like I go up for Sutton, right? Because I don't like people being mistreated unnecessarily and when they're not deserving of it. But at the same time, you've got to stand your ground yourself. Like nobody else can do that for you. Stand by what you mean. If you want to say things with your chest, keep it, make it 10 toes down. Do not go back off of that. And I'm not saying that means you have to walk around being hateful to people, but why isn't she like dust at this point and non-existent? Like, how is she even a thought of receiving an invitation? But okay, we get flashbacks of some light work when it comes to their toxic relationship because we know they definitely had worse situations than that. And Garcelle says it's never done in her confessional. And that's the absolute problem, Garcelle, with this unhealthy cycle. No one out of the two of them is willing, like I said, to put their foot down and leave it there. I don't think they even have a love hate relationship because I don't even genuinely see where the love stems from. If anything, I would say it more so comes from Sutton and the side of her, I feel like the real desire deep below and deep within to try to keep things cool with Dorit. But Dorit is the one that just keeps throwing the daggers. You know what I'm saying? And so obviously we know things in order to last or make it have to be reciprocated. You need work from both people. But anyway, so I'm annoyed with Sutton in this moment. I don't know about y'all because she says she's going to send a group message. I believe something to that tune, and it'll be up to Dorit whether or not she wants to come. Not at my event. It wouldn't happen. So they hop back into the Mauricio mess of it all. Long story short, Sutton basically states that Kyle needs to move on, and I agree with her. So now we're back to Erica and her mom. They're sitting on her kind of back area. I don't know, I don't know what she called it, but anyways, and so she feels that her renovations symbolize a new beginning for her. Her mom is proud of her. Trial is coming up for Tom. We have to hear about what she's been through, not inclusive of those poor victims, but I'm gonna leave it at that. I was like, okay, so we still not even going to acknowledge and act like they didn't go through a whole lot. I understand that you feel like your hands may not have done it, but it's still connected to you because it's okay. Anyway, so Dorit and Garcelle meet for dinner, and I'll say this was too soon for me to see Dorit's face, but whatever. We know we can't escape it. And I just wasn't interested, but what are we going to do? All right. And so Dorit says she would have never guessed that her and Garcelle would be sitting down for dinner. And I wouldn't have either. Okay. Why is Garcelle meeting you for dinner? I mean, I was still trying to figure that out moments after them sitting there. And I'm just cut different, y'all, because there's no way I would forget the way and the horrible things that you did to me, or the horrible way you made me feel. Like when people show you who they are, believe them. And Dorit has shown you multiple times, Garcelle, even by way of others. What more proof do you need? Okay. And I'm like, come on, Garcelle. Her coming up to you at Bose's event was all it took. Just because she's going through and now she needs a shoulder to cry on and now she wants to get things squared away in her life that she messed up and burnt bridges on. I mean, come on. And so sometimes you've got to leave people right where they are. Thanks for the apology, but I'm all the way good. Dorit is not someone whose intent can be trusted, right? Because we know there's exceptions to the rule, right? I'm not saying when people do wrong things, you always have to cut them off, but you got to pay attention, though, to how they move and if it's really indicative to the essence and their core being. You know what I mean? Like, is there a difference between they're just having a bad day or this is who they are? That's where the problem lies. So, well, Garcelle, I'll say, because she's saying something about having compassion in her confession. I'm like, I guess my compassion is just not here, and I'm okay with that for to read, because I'm a fast forward right along through the rest of the scene, y'all. Then I was like, oh, wait, okay? Because then I heard Garcelle ask her what her beef with Sutton was. Once again, Dorit's delusion and victim mode is at work. All jokes aside, y'all, I feel like that lady has got some serious issues. For the fact that she runs this narrative for so long and it still hasn't clicked in her brain that she's a contributing factor. I understand that it's hard for people to come to the conclusion about certain things, but listen, what? Like, yeah, this is crazy. She said it's like Garcelle has on rose tinted glasses and doesn't see Sutton's behavior, and that she's the one, meaning Dorit, who comes across as a cruel and a raging bleh. And I said, well, let me add to that, darling, okay? And forgive me for the repetition, you guys, but you're also a gaslighting, calculated, deceitful, unaware, but really aware, disingenuous, spiteful, mean spirited. And should I throw broke in there, y'all? Because I mean, the people been saying, and as the streets are talking, they calling her Porito. Okay? But that's what you are. You are all those things. B- b- beast of a woman. Okay? So, yeah, you are. You are. Okay? Newsflash, you are. To which, rewinding back to her initial statement, Garcelle tells her she was a cruel and raging bleh. Okay? And Dorit asks if what Sutton said wasn't cruel to her. Again, the delusion. Throw that right back under that umbrella because I'm like, and this is where Garcelle said it was. She's in agreement that what Sutton did was cruel. And I said, Garcelle Denise Bouvet. Granted, I am pretty certain that is not Garcelle's middle name. Don't know what it is, but that's just my filler when I've got to call you out on your government because that's how serious it is for me. Like, if you want to be in agreement with Dorit on that, which I truly don't understand why, but I'm going to try to see it from the other side, again, the Libra that I am, then so be it. But in however, sis, you should have then asked her, but why do you think she came across as cruel? Why do you think she went there? Why do you think she said the things that she said? Do you think she just pulled that out of left field for no reason? Do you think there's not a method to Sutton's madness at times? Do you think there's anything that you could have done that sparked that? Let's rewind. Let's put yourself in her shoes because you're real sensitive, Dorit. And we know you're always a victim. If somebody would have implied and made that statement about you being an alcoholic, how would you have received that? How would you have responded to that? Okay? Especially this season where you like to call yourself going off on people because let's not forget at the beginning, you were yelling at Kyle, right? Well, y'all were yelling at each other, but the point is you still were engaging. And then also you called Camille a see you next Tuesday. And did she yell at Sutton too? Like, stop yelling at me. I don't know. So you've been going off any other time, which gives me credence to believe you're going to go off again had somebody said that to you. But okay. And so it's just a moment where I just would have told her, let's pause and think real hard about this one, okay? Let's pause and think real hard. But Garcelle didn't, whatever. Per usual, y'all, one thing that I'll never change about me is that I can't stand people who see everyone else as the problem, but not realize that they're part of the equation too. It's truly sickening. And again, it's exhausting to watch episode after episode after episode after season with this lady. They end up proving even more why they shouldn't be sitting at dinner together because, in a nutshell, Dorit says, as long as Garcelle doesn't speak up against Sutton's bad behavior or something like that, they'll never be close, meaning her and Garcelle. Dorit and Garcelle. And Garcelle says in her confessional, she'll have one eye open when it comes to Dorit. And I'm like, so who has time for any of that? At the end of the day, especially at your grown ages. And why would you want to be in the company under your own free will of someone like that? Just why? Why aggravate your energy with the bull? Why? Let's say production, y'all, is even forcing them to have this dinner. Well, if that's the case, right, because it's part of my contract, part of my job, whatever, then I would have steadily been coming for Dorit each and every single time. Okay, until she finally had her coming to Jesus moment where she realized some things, and then maybe we can move forward, and maybe not, but she would have hated me. She really would have. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I don't stand for people mistreating people. I just don't. And thinking that they've done nothing wrong. Like, get real. And so, fast forward, preparations and setup are underway for Sutton's fashion show. And I just adore Jennifer's personality, y'all. Jennifer Tilly, when I tell you, she is just, oh my gosh, I cannot get enough of her. And I feel like we haven't even seen enough of her. Maybe we've seen the right amount, but I wanted to see more. And so, because she's doing her little practice of walking the runway and making her little side comments just the best. Her quirkiness, her money, her personality, her just talent. She's just down to earth and, oh God, just a lot of things. So, anyways, Sutton shares that unfortunately Miss Reba, her mom, won't be able to make the show, even though she put forward her best efforts, but she ran into, excuse me, some airport issues a couple of times. They did, however, speak on FaceTime, and Reba let her know how proud of her she was. And I think that was, again, another wonderful moment towards the future of just building a better relationship together for Miss Reba to at least put that out there. Again, I'm sure that meant a lot to Sutton. And so the ladies start to arrive at the show. And the big time delusion is back. It strikes again because Doreen then arrives at the fashion show and says she wonders if she's going to get an apology. And I'm like, girl, from who and what? Say what now? Did she just say that? Did she just think out loud maybe? Because that's something you just keep to yourself. And I was like, and again, an apology for what? Responding to your initiated shenanigans? Or if she's just a seat filler. Child, you wouldn't even be a seat filler unless my life depended on it. And even then, I would definitely figure something else out. Okay. So the nerve for me, the audacity, right? So, anyways, there's conversation about photos with Morgan, and Mo doesn't get jealous. Apparently, Kyle shares because I think someone was asking if Kyle took the photos. Was it in that moment? Or at some moment, if she took the photos with Morgan out and about to make Mauricio jealous. And I said, well, that sucks. He's not the type of person to get jealous because you can't make him eat his heart out with a pic of you looking like everything with a hot man. I guess in this case, or a woman. But at the same time, most men will enjoy the thought of another woman. So we got to keep it to the man of it all if they would get jealous. But it's not a thing for Mauricio. I said, okay, well, then there that goes. And so Kyle is also starting to feel like most pics also may have been staged. So who knows? And then and she said also that he did apologize. And I'm like, I mean, I guess better late than never, but it still would have been nice to give a heads up prior to me finding out about it or the possibility of finding out about it, but whatever. And so my next question, y'all, I said, where is Kathy shuffling to in those heels that she could barely walk in? Now, I know that somehow or another she ended up hurting herself, but to me, it was very much giving, even if I didn't hurt myself, don't know how to walk in these heels. And I said, okay, I see where she's going, to be messy in the back and make a suggestion to Sutton for Dorit to narrate the show. Naturally, Dorit is like, Sutton is like, eventually, no. And I'm like, why would she do that, Kathy? Why would she do that? Anyway, the fashion show starts. Kathy's all up in the way. I'm glad that the first model who walked out touched Kathy on the shoulder, pretty much like, sis, move out of my way. Like, boom, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, move, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way. Shout out to Ludacris. I love Ludacris. Anyways, and so she finally sits down, and the long story short, I'll just say shout out to Sutton on her fashion show and flipping that coin. I definitely saw some cute pieces that I like. Mine primarily were, I think, some of the, I don't know the material, but it all gives like a, oh gosh, I should know the name, but it was the skirts. It was the skirts for me. I remember seeing it in black, and I know one of the models had on like a white kind of halter. I thought that was really cute. And then it was the same kind of skirt in like a burnt sienna kind of color, some type of orange kind of color. Really like that. Anyway, so Erica is kind of throwing a little shade, kind of sort of, by saying that, well, Sutton's fashion line is not going to win whatever type of clothing award, but she still gives her kudos for making it do what it do. And y'all, I'm not even going to comment on Sutton's last remark, because they all come together at the end of the fashion show. They're hugging Sutton, they're congratulating her, and Sutton's sharing her final little woes in her confessional about the ladies coming to support her and how Dorita's a friend. I said, okay. Okay, Sutton, girl, I mean, I mean, Sutton, you piss me off now. Okay, you are pissing me off. Earth to Sutton, don't fall back into that hole. Please don't do it. And I get that sometimes it's easy to do that, right? Some people just can't help who and what they are, but that's the thing. You have to, though. You have to push yourself not to be people's doormats. It's just not a good look, obviously, for you mentally, obviously for you spiritually, on any level. And just for the fact of letting people know you mean serious business. Like, I don't know who you think I am, but let me let you know. Allow me to reintroduce myself, because you won't be doing that over here with me. Period, point blank, and to the. Okay? Anyways, y'all, but that's all I had. Ain't got no more. Y'all will definitely have to let me know what you thought. The music is on. The dance floor is lit. Don't be no prude and hold up that wall. I need y'all to do like y'all did last time. I need y'all to do your spins, your twists, your turns, all the things. I, again, truly appreciate hearing you guys and what you have to say. I want to know what you guys thought of Sutton's fashions. I want to know if you're still seeing these delusions that are Dorit, like I am. Again, to the other side of folks, if I'm missing something that I should be seeing that makes sense when it comes to Dorit, because I haven't arrived there yet. But y'all just do what you do, and just sharing new thoughts. It's always good to be reminded of things, from past seasons that contribute to this all, or whatever the case may be. Sharing new tea, all the things. But here is where my DJ shout out comes in. That was terrible. But anyways, to my people, Spencer, my original party king, what's good, my guy? Talkative TV addict, you already know that you're my girl, y'all. Talkative be getting deep with it. She be leaving us some good narratives, y'all. Go back and read them things, because first of all, she makes sense, and she also allows us into her world, which is pretty cool, and I appreciate you so much for that. Pap, my girl Paprika ASMR. Hey, girl. Sandy G Baptiste. I hadn't seen you in a minute, but it was definitely good to see you on the dance floor. So good seeing you again. Bravado, what's really going on? Okay, my peeps, what's going on? To Agnes, to I think it's Joffrey G or Jeffrey G, might be a twist on this the spelling of the name. El Boogie, Ariana Cook, Ella Grace. Hey, y'all, motherfucking hey. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all two-stepped and showed out, and I loved it, and I hope that you will be back to do it again. I really appreciate the company. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I hope when this video reached you that it found you in good spirits, and if not, that somehow it put you in good spirits and put a little bit of a smile on your face. Y'all know at the end of the day, I'll be back next week to do it all over again. I'm still in my mind and wishing that there would have been other shows, y'all, that I already had under my belt to review, because the way I have been on this Married at First Sight, I don't know if y'all have seen it, and I don't want to throw out the wrong season. I think it's been season 18, but I'm not sure. Whatever this latest one is on, they're wrapping up, but we still have a couple more episodes to go, because they have to do the reunion. Freaking phenomenal. Like, if y'all haven't watched in a long time, I encourage you to check this season out. If you've never watched it before, this would be a great start. When I tell you, I feel like it's one of the best seasons ever, and I would have loved to get in some of these people behind. So instead, I sit and either talk to my sister-in-law about it or talk to myself. Ooh, child, so freaking good. But anyways, y'all, I digress. Like I said, I will be back next week to do it all over again. All right, so until then, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. And I'm out. Peace.